All right, this is it. I've sell out, and I'm going to do a top 10 fragrances that women love video. So, I'm gonna start out by saying that before I got married, I used to flirt in bars a lot, and I was wearing fragrances, obviously, and yeah. So the first one, like in the list, number 10, let's say, it's not really in any particular orders. In fact, the first thing I want to tell you is like have a personality. That's the probably like the first step. Like the number 10. Uh, yeah, have a personality. Know who you are, um, and that is like I actually just wanted to get your attention by having like a title and stuff. But the fact is, if you don't have any personality, your fragrance won't get you one. And the top 10 spot will be this one here. It's Xyrenia Cinemaniac. Now, you must be like, oh yeah, so this is like a super complimented fragrance, like that I don't know. Is it a hype beast or something? It actually does smell like popcorn and licorice and soda, but not in a really pleasant way of any kind. But what it does do is it has personality. And if you don't have as much personality as this fragrance, then probably all your attempts on trying to get fragrances to flirt better and pick up women will lamentably fail. Um, this fragrance is probably for someone who really is into B movies and stuff like that. All right. Second of all, have hygiene. It's easy to wear fragrance, spray fragrances on, because it doesn't take that much time. But the actual thing that will make you smell good is if you take care of your body, if you take care of yourself. So be healthy, have hygiene. The first one will be have hygiene because when people wear this one, Versace Eros, a lot of time they wear it and they don't have good hygiene and it smells awful. So people then smell Versace Eros and are just reminded of some guys that don't take care of themselves enough and just smell really bad, even though this fragrance is a masterpiece and smells really good. If you're able to ruin such masterpiece fragrances, you should question yourself, either on if it's done for your skin, perhaps it's just your skin and you just need another fragrance, but perhaps you need to wash yourself more. Which bring me to another point. Be healthy. Okay? So if you're all about getting fragrances every day, like every day, you should, you definitely should have one when you go to the gym. And I think a lot of people will just say, just don't wear fragrances when going to the gym. I think you can rock some fragrances with like this, like the Adidas Team 5 kind of a vibe, because it's sporty, it doesn't project well, and it will still get you to smell very clean during the duration of your stay inside the room. All right. Also, know who you're like who you're aiming for. Are these people compatible with you? Do you have anything in common with people in general? Um, are you like uh, someone who really likes like is really into fitness, or are you someone who's more into video games or cinema, or maybe you're into gossiping and stuff, or maybe you're into, I don't know, fashion, fragrances. That's another thing. So I would recommend, like for myself, I'm a 80s lover. I like the, Miami Vice. I like Arnold Schwarzenegger in the 80s movies, and Predator is one of my favorite movies of all time. So I want to grow a hairy chest, so I get this fragrance. So that's another one in the list. Um, it's Quorum. I love it. It's amazing. So I think we did one, two, three, four fragrances, and now we're at the halfway point. Okay. The other thing I'm going to tell you is not to do the same thing as me, which is collect a bunch of fragrances. I have like 40 fragrances, and I think it is too much because I will never be able to use them all for the rest of my life, and I will always be into fragrances, and I will always want to buy more. So what I suggest: sample before you buy. Um, yeah, most of the time, like sample before you buy. Try to get yourself a nice collection if you want to. But like if it's a hobby like me, I won't judge. I have this hobby. A ton of people out there have this hobby. Um, but I mean, if you're just into, oh, I really want to smell good to attract the opposite sex, or even to attract the same sex, I'm not judging anyone, but like I really want to smell good to attract and whatever. You don't need like 40 fragrances to do so. I have 40 fragrances because I like the art of perfumery, and there's some fragrances like Xyrenia Cinemaniac that are completely like unappealing to 95% of the population. So I won't attract it. Most people won't be attracted by it. Some people will find it very interesting, but most people don't. So I mean, if you really want to have like five, six fragrances or whatever because you want to cover every situation, buy cheap. Like buy actual cheap fragrances that have like the quality that you want, you know, because buying yourself six $300 fragrances that cover any situation. Yeah, if you have the money to do so and you're like, ah, I don't care what Spray Love is saying, I'm just gonna do it. Okay, but if you have like a budget, you're on a tight budget, and you're like, oh, I want to have six fragrances, but I only have 150 bucks to spend. Like, get yourself kind of fragrances like that. They smell amazing, similar to this one, Le Mal, which is a great fragrance. Will get you compliment, but only cost like 10, 15 bucks, just like Quorum does. Quorum also costs like $15, something like that, and it's amazing. It's different. The people nowadays, they're not used to it anymore. Anyway, so if you want to get a collection to cover every situation to be the most appealing possible, buy yourself cheap ones if you don't have the money to spend on bigger ones. But I also would recommend buy yourself one signature scent that is like the total of your budget, and like the budget you want to put on fragrances, which shouldn't be that much in general, but put that on one fragrance and rock this one fragrance. It's gonna be high quality, and it's gonna rock, you know. I'm pretty sure that I could, and this is gonna be like for the number four spot. It's Neroli Outre Noir, an amazing fragrance that Guerlain Neroli Outre Noir, amazing fragrance. It's not a budget like friendly fragrance, but if I could just use that one, I would, and it would be like my whole, budget. But I don't have any budget anymore. Probably I just wouldn't buy any fragrances now. All right. Also, now that you know who like the interests, the hygiene part, get healthy, like fitness, exercise, nutrition, stuff like that. You might also want to consider, is your lifestyle like compatible with the kind of person you're chasing? Like, and I say that like in all honesty, I hear a lot of people that are like, oh, super hot women, they always go for the same type of guys that are, fit and and they don't look very intelligent or whatever. They pass a lot of judgment on those people, but maybe they are looking at women that are going for the type of guys that fit their lifestyle, you know. And this is a big thing, you know. If you're someone who just lives in his like basement and doesn't really want to travel, well, how could you chase a girl that her sole purpose is like to travel all around the world, and she likes to take photos on the beach, and she's like always outdoors when things happen, and things like that. You know, there's some obvious incompatible lifestyle choices, um, and you need to learn about these things. You know, like what lifestyle the people you're attracted to having, because if it's a completely, I don't mean to say that you should have like the exact same, but you should at least look at, and you should also try to know what pleases those people, you know um what makes them think that you're a good potential uh boyfriend, girlfriend, or mate, or whatever, just even just a partner for sometimes. And that is why I would say do not get away from like feminine fragrances. I have this one, Clean Skin Reserve, which is the fragrance I was wearing when I met my wife, and she thought it smelled very very nice. I still have it. It's one of those fragrances I'm always gonna have in my collection, just because it's the fragrance I had when I met my wife, and it's a traditionally like more typically feminine fragrance. I think that one of the biggest thing that played in my favor when I was actually going out and flirting a lot is that I have tons of friends that are girls, and also I had like a real interest in human relationships and stuff like that. But also like the fact that I am around so many women and stuff, and not in a sexual way, I think it's also given me this lifestyle approach that was easier, because it's like, yeah, I could see myself doing stuff with this guy, like doing activities with this guy. He seems like having like some like having a good time with girly things and stuff like that, and even not girly things, but just like things, you know, in life that you want to do with friends, or you want to do in general. People need to see you as someone they could relate to at some point. Well, it's my opinion, but anyway. And yeah, be up for like the adventure. Don't be up for like just like getting what you want, which is, you know, probably intercourse, but be up for the adventure, be up for the meeting, be up for like knowing new people, being interested in new people. There's tons of people out there that I was like perhaps interested in, but then decided it's like, oh no, it's just like she's just a really nice person overall, and it's fun and whatever. So be up for the adventure. You know, an adventure. It's knowing people. The people you're flirting with are actual real people in the real world, and they deserve to be treated as such, not just as people that are going to um, fill a void inside yourself that you just want to have more intercourse, which is a natural human thing. You know, we all need that, but most people need it. All right, so be up for the adventures. That's number two, I think. I'm not really sure, but be up for the adventure. And a fragrance I was up for the adventure when I got it is the Seven Virtues Santal Vanille. It's got santal and vanilla, of course, but it's a coconut forward fragrance that is not a real good, you know, it's not actually a good summer scent. So it's an adventure in itself. You know, it's like a funkier, coconut sunscreen fragrance, very dense and thick and whatever, vanilla centric, that is usable anytime but also none, and that is pretty comforting. But yeah, you need to like learn to live with the adventure. So this fragrance is an adventure in itself. Also, like the whole journey of the fragrance through the mid and the dry down is just completely different. And the first and number one thing is, be yourself. Sometimes, like, we restrain from going for our interests, our what we love, just because we want to please more, just because we want. But this is not pleasing to anyone. This is not attractive to anyone. What is attractive is if you go for your goals and you go for what you really feel is good. If you're into video games, there is tons of person in like both sexes that really enjoy that, and you could go for that. You could go for like those kinds of people. If you're really into like, oh, I have the ambition of going into politics and doing a change in the world, some people will hate that. Some people will actually find you very interesting. That's two different things. If you're like me and you're like, I want to be an opera singer, but I also want to be a musician, but I also want to be an actor, and I really like health and fitness. Well, I just do everything I want. And try to do a living out of all the things that I like, and I think that's it. It's what makes human beings very interesting is like the diversity of things they like, the diversity of things they go through in their lives, and yeah, be interested in the exact same thing in your potential partners. Maybe they have great ambitions. Maybe they have a lot of people, they have dreams, they like talking about themselves. Let them talk. But if you talk with passion, talk with ambition, and talk about what you like, and speak with your own voice, not like a construct, not a character. You're yourself, and this is the I know you've been casted to do that exact character. And if you are like me, someone who is very basic at some point, well, yeah, the number one spot is this one, Eros Flame. I got it recently. I love it. I wear it almost every day right now. People will say, "Yeah, you're not a real fragrance addict. You're just a basic guy." And I'm like, "I am. What can I do? I'm a basic guy. I like basic things. And I like human interactions and going to the gym and music and whatever. But I also like Eros Flame, and I'm rocking it. I used to rock Sauvage. I still have Prada Luna Rosa Carbon. I have like my high end niche fragrances also, but most of the time I just don't want to ask myself any questions, and I like to wear things that just smell really awesome. So I hope you like the videos, and I hope I didn't hurt anyone's feelings with this video. I'm just telling you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. What you need to hear is the basics of human interactions when it comes to flirting is the same basics as any human interactions. It's legit, like honest interests in the other person and their lifestyle and their goals, while also the expression of your goals, your ambitions, your passions, what you are. It's those two things, letting people be themselves, letting yourself be yourself, and just, having this discussion, which could or could not lead to a romantic or a sexual encounter. So, that being said, fragrances, yeah, it does help. Like anything help, like good clothing, but the basics, personality, interest in the other, compatibility, that cannot be emulated by a juice. So get yourself a juice if you really want to. Get yourself a like nice outfits. Take care of yourself and spread love. And spread love. Bye bye.